Hey everybody, Tony here. It is now turn 7, May 2nd to 5th, 1940. At this point in the uh, campaign, the German High Command is really starting to look at it as really a mop up operation. Um, the Norwegians are on the run everywhere. Perhaps as the Norwegians here, once the Germans had broken through here, I probably should have just run uh, and tried to get north of Trondheim as quickly as possible instead of still trying to steadily slow the trickle. But the cork is out of the bottle. The cracks in the dam have broken open into holes, and the Germans are starting to pour through. So at this point, for the Norwegians, it's probably best just to try to get out of there. This attack here, which ended up being a no effect, is going to end up being folly. I should not have done that. I should have just gotten out while the getting was good. But I didn't. But there are several air units which are going to be withdrawn this turn as the Germans prepare for the invasion in the west and begin. We're only a few days away from the beginning of Falgelb. And I do that because I can't pronounce it. To me, it looks like Falgelb, and that's probably how they pronounce it. It sounded like Gelb. Galeb. And that sounded like a complete southern accent. Anyway. The last few units are making their way across, mostly headquarters units. The Germans are going to ship everything to Oslo. And I have a feeling there's at least one of these headquarters is not going to make it. And we're going to put the final divisional headquarters, the 196th, into ship next turn. It is the last land reinforcement to make its way across. So I need to start making a list of issues within the game, because otherwise I will forget. I mean, there's already one thing that I've forgotten until I saw this, and that is the insane losses that the Germans suffer coming across the Skagerrak. How to fix some of these issues, I have no idea. For example, these 3 anti-aircraft units, they have 6 points of AA apiece. That's 18 points. And if we were to try to use the AA table, the Europa AA table, where is it? Is it not even in here? Here, combat results. Really? Where is it? Gameplay chart 1. There we go. Anti-aircraft. So since it has 18 points, it's pretty much death to anything that flies above them. And it would pretty much, I think, throw the game out of whack. At the Europa scale, they have 2 points each. But the number of air units in an air counter at the Europa scale versus how many are in a counter at the Narvik scale, which is 50 aircraft versus 12 approximately. So, as from Europa to Narvik, the amount of AA seems to have increased versus the number of air units. So any aircraft power has risen significantly versus that of the Europa scale. But how to fix that is beyond me because I'm not a game designer. My initial inclination is to cut it by 2/3, so 6 points would become 2 points. And so that'd be a total of 6 in that hex. But then when you're dealing with the British, who their battalions have 2 points, or their batteries even. Their batteries have 2 points each. How do you adjust that? I have no idea where to even begin with that. So anyway, we're going to move on, and everybody's going to be going to Oslo. The idea is that actually the 11th I don't even need to really send because one of its regiments got sunk. And there's only 2 regiments in the brigade. So let's spread them out and get ready to go. And I'm hoping that the full Panzer battalion will make it. Now that I've said that, knock on wood. Like I said, everything's going to go to Oslo, so let's see what happens. So Panzer Company, and there's one Panzer. I told you, I put it out to the universe, and the universe said, screw you. The General Goering motorized battalion coming across, makes it. So now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 supply depots. 1, 3, 4. Number 4 is sunk. 5. 3 machine gun battalions. 3. And then the 11th Motorized Brigade headquarters. The 3rd of the 112th Mountain Artillery Battalion is sunk. 69th Infantry Headquarters, 163rd Infantry Headquarters, and the 198th Infantry Headquarters. So this unit being sunk is going to cost a lot in victory points. So there really isn't many victory points for that unit there because it's only a company. But this is a battalion. It's been sunk. So combat unit destroyed, +1. German unit sunk, +1, so that's +2. Plus another 2 for mountain battalion destroyed. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4. Puts it back up to 20. And then 1 more for supply, wrong one. So they are currently at 24 points. Which halfway through the game, that's actually very, very low. Most times near the midpoint of the game, we're getting close to 50 points for the Allies. But as it stands right now, so far it is a decisive German victory midway through the game. Get rid of this, delete, and this goes to sunken transit. And we now gather these all up. Unfortunately, Panzers are not air transportable. They're just too heavy. So, my dog always waits until I'm recording before he gets up and starts wandering around the room and drinking everything. It's just 400 gallons of water, it seems like at times. So, let us start here. And 1, 2, we are going to move the headquarters into Bergen. 1. Well, before we move on there, we want to start getting this one back over there. But that is 4, 7, 10. And since we now know that we can move by rail into a given hex, so that is 1, 2 in train, 1, 2, 3, 4, that is 2. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, so that is 2. We're going to interdict the hex side. Hello. We're going to interdict the hex side. And this unit's going to move in. And this unit's going to move in. But we're going to move there because that's 3. And they are going to interdict the hex side just to keep them, anybody from getting through. They're going to move on to here. And this artillery unit is going to cross the straits and try to further tighten the noose there. 3, 6, 7, 8. And what do they have here? 4, 2, 1. But they don't have mountain troops. So that's probably the best place for them to be. Meanwhile, here, do I have any available 2-4s? Four, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. 15. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Trying to cut this one off here. Maybe force it into Haugesund. But even if it gets over here, it still has a lot of options for escaping. We're going to move 1 here just to protect Kristiansand. Sorry, Kristiansand is a completely different place. And then 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, Gotta be 3 and rough or combat motorized, which artillery is not. So 1. So the Germans are quickly trying to cut many of these off. So 1 to entrain, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 2, 1, 2, 3. That's 3. And we will stay there. If this mountain battalion decides to head this way, it can split the difference there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 1, 2, that's 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. So this unit here, 1, 2, 3, 4, is going to try and cut him off if he tries to get through here. That will not be easy, as the mountain units can move real quick through these mountains. And I just hope that me moving that direction into the mountains does not come back to haunt me. This guy's not going to get very far. But this guy, he can... I think he's partially blocked in by this glacier here. So if he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, he's going to have to... 1, 2, 3, 4... 3. Yeah, he's not going to be able to get out of the mountains, and he may get caught. Those aren't going to move very fast either. So they may have to turn around and head back to Haugesund. Now these units, now that we have supply, there is 1, 2, 3, and he's going to take a supply. 4, 5, 6. Now I can get out that way, right? Yep. 1, 2. Come on. Come on. You know you want to go up there. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I will keep this last truck. Gonna take this battalion here. They're gonna take a supply, and they're gonna entrain, so they can move up to 8 hexes away. I'm gonna keep him there for just 1 second, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Try and get some supply out here. On the 63rd. Now the headquarters units, I am basically going to what divisions are up here? The 69th, the 2nd, portions of the 214th, 196th. Isn't really look, because those can't be absorbed. So I'm going to put the 69th back in there and the 11th here. I almost should not have wasted my time, my resources, even bringing that across. So 69, there is 1, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And there he is, the 198th and 163rd. The 198th is primarily over there, so they can move 1, 2 hexes. And then the 163rd is 196 and 198. So where is the 163rd? Are they up here at Bergen? 181, 69th, 181. There's a 163. 163 there. I think there's a 163. Yeah, 163 here, so that's 2. And was there a 163 that was sunk? So it doesn't look like there was a 163rd that was sunk, although there was a lot of 181st. So where did 196th, 69th, 8th, 196 and 214, 69th, where is my other 163rd? $198. Gehring. 163 there. So there is my artillery. There is the 307th. There's the 214th. Oh, there they are. So the 163rd is going to start absorbing its full regiments. I'm not going to make every single division complete. So let's see, they can move 2, 1, 2, where it can absorb these two. It is done moving. So I'm not stopping and picking up stragglers along the way, but I'm going to have to get this down here as quickly as I can. So these units still have 2.5 movement points, so they can move let's see, 1.5, 4, 5, 6 hexes. And I'm going to be, since they are not companies, they cannot freely stack. So, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to move 2 of them there. And these battalions will be coming down to relieve these artillery units to free them up. And then finally, the tanks can move. They have 3 left. They can move 4 hexes because they have to spend 2 in order to entrain. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I believe that that is it for down here. This group. $359. Oops. Second and third. So the first of the 359th, I believe, was sunk. There's the first of the 359th right there. So, yeah, they aren't going to be, but 1, 2, 1, 2. Forest is 2, correct? Forest is 2. Moving into a mountain. 1, 2. 1, 2. I don't know. 6, 8, 6 is 14. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Prevent him from crossing that river. So my strategy as the Germans at this point is not necessarily to destroy all the Norwegians, but to get them into a position where they no longer have an impact. So I'm trying to force them towards the border. Not that I can force them to cross the border, but so 1, 2, 3, 4. 14. 9. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Oops. I didn't want to do that. Oh, there's 1. 1. 3. And we will have him interdict the hex side. 1, 2, 3. And move on and join them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3. So these two are going to split. Keep them from getting out. Now, let's see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4. That's there. 3, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's got 2, so 9 and 6 is 15, so 7 to 1. Move him in there, move him there. Interdict the hex side. And then move on. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 3, 4. And the second, is that just the headquarters? I think it's just the headquarters at this point. Yeah, it's just the headquarters right now. So I don't want to get it too far ahead. Now these 2 units are going to get the heck out of Dodge while they can. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Effectively trapping the Norwegians. And they are definitely not leaving their supply behind. So we'll put that with them. So the Germans have just effectively surrendered Trondheim. But one, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's actually 3. So there's 12. So 3 to 1. And actually we will move this one back and have him interdict the hex side. Okay. And we'll move these all back together. 1, 2, 3. And we'll move him back 1 and have him interdict the hex side. 1, 2, 3. Can't move away from that port yet. So we're going to be bombing the snot out of Trondheim now. Because we're going to be trying... The German army is going to be trying to push on through this area as quickly as possible in order to push north to Narvik as fast as possible. Generally, with the old Narvik game, it has always been my belief that if the Germans could not break through the Trondheim area by turn 8 at the latest, they could not win the game. They could not make it to Narvik in time. Um, but we shall see. Down here I am not fighting. So these air units, oh, by the way, I did mark where the Furious went down. I just put a big old X there. But let's see. Range from here to here, 16. So all of these air units they can't make it. They need to fly to Trondheim. They need this airfield in order to start operating. So we will take the rest of these. And many of these bombers are going to be withdrawn at the end of the turn. So after their missions have been completed, I am going to start withdrawing them for the next phase. That amuses me. I'm sorry. It just amuses me. So we will fly these to Trondheim. There are no... he should be on one of the... I forgot to put him back on one of the carriers. Oops. Did that by mistake. So which carrier is he supposed to be on? Probably the Ark Royal. Yeah, Ark Royal. Okay, so let's put that back there. What other missions? Let's see, only wanted C's. That is nowhere near open yet. That isn't open yet. The Germans have control of them, but they are not open. So what is... That's still shut down. So... Who's there? What is the range from here to Oslo? 13. So they can carry a supply depot. Supply depot. One there. Counters. Oh. Oops. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 11, 13, and they will airdrop that there. There are no more planes there. Now the question is, what are we going to do with these? 22. So range from there. There's 44, so that's the extreme end of extended range. The Ju-52s can make it to there. is there anybody else who needs any more help? Is the question. Um, 3, 6, 10, 3 to 1. That's still going to be at -2. So we'll take 1, 2, 3, 5. Let's take the 7s out of there. 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops. 6. And I think these are all JU 88s left. So the range from here to here is 30. So that will be at that is an extended range. So I'm going to do something new. I'm going to put them right there. Put those. We're going to go to the Europa. Oops. I'm just doing really great tonight. And hit markers. Destroyed. We'll put an X there so that it is noted they are flying at extended range, so that I don't run into the issue that I ran into with the last turn of not quite being able to remember. The rest of these are going to be flying to the new Allied Supply Depot here, and they have flown at extended range, and they are going to try and take out the supply depot there, the supply base there. Is there a port there? Yeah. Well, Sean is there. How many supply depots do the Allies have left? 1, 2, 3. So we'll put one at Moshan. So trying to think ahead, if this supply base gets destroyed, I'm trying to figure out if I should put a supply base here at Moshan, or if this pronunciation is incorrect, I apologize.
Moirama.
I can barely even read it. Here on the Rana River, or up at Bodo. But because this is all north of weather line B, not quite the Arctic, but getting there, the supply lines are going to have to be severely shortened. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the Ark Royal and the Glorious are very tempting targets because I have them sitting out here without any additional AA protection. Not that it did the Furious any good. But they, how many? They have 1, 2. So a total attack strength of 6. So let's that'd be 1-to-1 there. Uh, 4, 8, 13. So they'd be firing at 1-to-2 on all of these. Game chart. That's almost 1-to-2. So they have a 50-50 chance of taking something down, but they also have a 50-50 chance. Let's see, 4, 8 to 6, 1-to-1. They have a 50-50 chance of being shot down themselves. 3, 6, 9 to 6, 1-to-1. So everything 1-to-1. So it's a question of, is it really worth the risk? And the British have been losing so many victory points that ultimately they don't want to take the risk. So we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. 32 points. Okay, let me arrange these into groups of 5. This one's going to get demolished. So 4, 8, 18. So 25, 31, and 6 is 37 to 18. That's 2-to-1. See, game chart. Firing AA at the first group. Oh, wait, what am I doing? That one should be up there with them. So 5, 10, 15, 23, 37 to 23. So that's 1-to-1. And they rolled a 4, which is a miss. And then the second one is 5, 10, 5, 37 to 25. That's a 3, 1-to-1. So they have 1 kill. So now breaking back down into groups of 3. 3. So we'll go 5, which is hit on a 4, 5, or 6. Hit. Second group, 4, 5, or 6. Hit. Third group is 7, 14, 19. So it's 6 point something. They hit on a 4, 5, or 6. So far we've had a 6 and a 5, so that's 2 hits, and another 5. That is 3 hits. And that is the destruction of that supply base. So now the British are even more screwed than they were to begin with. Markers, poor hit markers. 3. And now they're going to have to put another supply base in, probably put it at Bodo, because it'll just make it that much harder to hit. So they did get 1 German bomber. Let's put this into eliminated air units. Put it there. We're going to gather these things up. large number of these units. The Ju-88s are going to be withdrawn. So I'm gonna, let me close that real quick so that I can see a little better. I'm going to put these down here so that we can sort them out shortly. 7, 2, 7. And these 3. Are going to return to their air base after dropping the supplies. Those are not flying at extended range. Maybe I had 3 of them. Seven, not that it makes any difference. 7, 5. 2, 2. That's 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 14, 15. So that could be 5 groups of 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So we have 5 groups of 3. We have the 148, 146th and 148th. We're going to spread these out just a bit. So there are 6 battalions, 2, 4, 6. Each one of these is going to be dropping at 6. 6 bombing strength, which is a 4, 5, or 6. So we're just going to work our way across. We're going to start with this one, and that is a miss. Second group, miss. Third group, miss. 3, 2, 1, and miss. That one's actually a hit. And is that all of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, and this one is a miss. So this could be an interesting combat. Guess that is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16, 17, 18.5. So let me write that down real quick. Let me open up Excel. 18.5. I have a feeling this is going to be brutal. 18.5. Let's close that. P1, H1. That is a light bomber. P4, P4, P1. P4. Hang on a second. P1 goes there. So P4 goes there. H4 goes there. H4, 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 H4. So these go back down here. We'll put them in this neighborhood for right now. So 9, 15. Oh my God, the Germans are so screwed in this battle. I thought maybe I would get more, but I did not. And then finally this group here, flying at extended range. Again, there is no AA. So that is 2, 4. So 4 is a 5 or a 6, and they hit. So flip. P4, P4, P4. All of these are P4s. Now that all of their missions are done, we need to withdraw. 1 HE-111H, anti-shipping. HE-111H1, right? Yeah. HE-111H1, regular bomber flavor. Which I don't have. Those are all P4s. H4s. So, we will just take a night bomber. Again, the fortunate thing for the Germans is that they do not lose victory points for not being able to withdraw all of their air units that they need to withdraw. Oh, hang on a second. We need to take these. We forgot about these guys. But instead of going to Trondheim, oh, damn it. Instead of going to Trondheim, they're going to go to Andalsnes. Okay, so back to, make sure I don't have any hidden in here. No. I do know I need to withdraw these 3. C1. And then 5 HE-111 H4s. Just the plain. So 5, so there's 2. 3. And the rest of them are anti-shipping, so they're going to have to go anyway. Eight HE-111 P4s. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So all of these go. Uh, 6 JU-88A1s, anti-shipping. So 5, but one is, so I have 5 of those. I I need to withdraw 1 non-anti-shipping, so a total of 7. I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. So all of these are going to go. And then the 3 ME-110Cs. And then the Germans don't get any more reinforcements until turn 10. But essentially they are left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is there a box for withdrawn units? Units withdrawn. Oh, I probably should have put the parachute units into that box. So units withdrawn. They have a box for everything. I don't know why they have a box for units withdrawn, but like I said, I just ask weird questions. That's 4. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's a little over 100 bombers left because most of them were withdrawn to be used in Western Europe, because it appears that the High Command now just thinks that this is a sideshow. So now, combat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 10, 11, 12. So they 3, 6, 10 to 1.5. So 10 divided by 1.5 equals 6 to 1 minus 2, since they only have the 1 mountain unit. And that's a 6, so a 4 is a defender eliminated. So that threat has been neutralized. Flip. So those are done. And these 3 units, getting out through here is going to be virtually impossible. They're basically going to have to withdraw to the islands here. And they will be sealed in. So, but that's going to be... That's going to be a lot of places. Get there, get there. There and there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And potentially stay there. So, okay, I can get rid of this. Delete. And get rid of this. Delete. And now for this one, like I said, this is 15, 18.5. So 15 divided by 18.5. That's going to be less than 1 to 1, less than optimal conditions. There are no negative die roll modifiers because it's woods. Oh, this is going to hurt. The best I can hope for really is a 2, a 1, a 2, a 4, a 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, or a 6. So there's only one really bad result, and it's really kind of odd to have a attacker eliminated that high in the. So it looks like nothing bad is going to happen to the British, but hopefully nothing bad will happen to the Germans. And I'm speaking as a game player. I'm not. I hate having to explain this stuff. So 5, attacker disrupted. Which means they are disrupted. They retreat. Oops. Flip. Flip. And they get out of there. The Norwegian or the British hold on to the truck because the Norwegians or the Germans. I'm starting to get tired. The Germans evacuated the city. They were not forced. They were not destroyed. So I suppose technically they could have driven the trucks out. But where I was going, they weren't going to be able to follow. But at the very least, the Germans survive and the British can't follow. Now this one here is 12-4. That's 3-1. That is wood, so that has no effect on combat. 3-1. And a 4. And 3-1 is defender retreat. Oh, wait a second. Stupid me. We'll retain the 4. But we have 2, 1, 2, and in neither case can either of them retreat before combat. So we're going to retreat to the airfield, but this one's going to be disrupted because it's violating stacking. And okay, so we got 3 more attacks here. And that supply is for those attacks. So 2. So we're going to retreat. Nope. Nope. 12, 15-2, 7-1, -1, 0. So 6-1, 0 is a defender disrupted. So they get disrupted and just head on into the mountains. This one here is 15-3, which is 5-1. Artillery retreat. And there's not really a lot of places they can go. They're just going to stay in the mountains, and then the headquarters is eliminated because it has nowhere to go. It can't retreat. It has no defense strength. And then these 6, 10, 14-1. The headquarters cannot retreat. 2 -2. So -2 is defender disrupted. So the headquarters manages to escape, but it is disrupted. So at this point, the Battle of Trondheim is over. The Germans actually, for once, got messed up when they faced off against the British, even though the British are out of supply. I should have just waited another turn for them to just run off. These air units are going to stay here because there's nothing for them to pick up. Pretty much the Norwegian army is pretty well isolated. It's really just mopping up at this point. So I feel like, since this is just really mopping up, that the Germans are really kind of on track where they were historically. I've just got to get this cleaned up, or figure out how to get this cleaned up quickly, so that I can start pushing north. So, with that said, the Allies are again out of supply there. This next turn, the French are going to finally attack Narvik, which means that we're going to be doing some bombing at the town. This one's going to join those out of the carriers. But pretty much all of the remaining bombers have been recalled to Germany for the offensive on the Western Front. The Norwegians, all that they can do at this point is just run, find somewhere to run. So we'll see what I think of in the second half of the turn. It is times like this that I'm glad that I'm taking the slow approach and play testing this thing. As I was getting ready to start this turn, I discovered that I had inadvertently left out the Foreign Legion headquarters, which is kind of important, and that the 2CA Mountain Artillery Battalion here actually had the Europa face on it. When you flipped it over, it had the correct back, but the front was incorrect. So I'm glad that I found that, got it straightened out. So it is now turn 7. A number of these units, this unit and this tank unit, are going to head up to Harstad to reinforce the French there and give them just a little bit more oomph. The Foreign Legion and the Poles, on the other hand, are going to be landing at Namsos. So we're going to put the French in there, the Poles there. At this point, the Allies, or the British, for the most part, are beginning their second turn out of supply. And this means that their defense strengths are halved, their attack strengths are halved, and their movement is halved. So the priority is to get these back into supply as quickly as possible. This landing craft unit here is a tricky little thing. As long as it is within 10 hexes of a supply base, it in and of itself will act as a supply base. I'm still trying to determine what the best placement is. So there is a straight there, so it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it would be able to supply approximately to the line of the Limingen River and the Namsos line here. But it's questionable how far. That'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 6, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, I might be able to, because above the B weather line here, all movement points are doubled. I'm going to pause real quick. I'm going to look that up and verify that. Okay, so let me rephrase all of this. Any unit that cannot move into mountain territory for example, combat motorized units cannot move through mountain territory, therefore they cannot trace a supply line through. But the British are allowed up to 10 movement points. A clear hex north of the weather line costs 2, but there's actually very few clear hexes that are above that weather line. But moving across a road or following a road still counts as 1. So these units, for example, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then how much would it be? Mountain is 3. That's 5, 8. And then a rough hex would be 9, 10. So from here, this stack of units would be in supply, but just barely. This stack of units would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this group is still out of supply. So I've got to figure out where is it that they can move, where they would be in supply, and the position still be defensible. This right here is a possibility because there's only 3 hexes, but these units will have to stay at the port, or at least some of them would have to stay at the port in order to keep the Germans from trying to go around. And that's probably the best bet. These units are landing in supply, but they are out of supply. So it looks like possibly the best place to put them is not at Namsos, but to land them up here, so that they're closer to supply, so that they are not, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, no, down there they'd be in supply, but barely. But there is a risk that they could be overrun by the Germans rather quickly. But, you know, all that is unknown right now. This air unit really, it has nowhere to go. I suppose that I could build an air base here, because it's on the seas in 3 different places, and that would make them one step closer to. So I think we're going to do that. So counters, markers, 1 capacity. We'll go ahead and slap a second air base there. Now, as part of the initial phase, we are going to take our anti-aircraft here. We're going to take the Valiant, and we're going to take all of this anti-aircraft. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's too much. Okay. Okay, I'm done screwing around with that. We're going to take all of this anti-aircraft north, to Bodo to help protect that supply base. Now, the reason that I'm moving this to Bodo rather than coming down to help the landing craft is that the landing craft cannot be sunk, cannot be destroyed. So it really doesn't need any aircraft help whatsoever. So now at turn 7, we're going to take a look at the Norwegian mobilization, which has really hampered. It's been very, very poor this game, and it has really hampered the Norwegian efforts. So turn 7, and there's 3, 10, 7, and 9, all of which belong to the Germans. So the 7th and the 9th. We will put these into the eliminated column. At this point in the game, the Norwegians really are not going to get much in the way of mobilization reinforcements. The Germans have complete control of that. The 13th Mobilization Center is the only place that they could possibly get actually, not even that. That one is completely spent. But the Germans control all of these remaining mobilization centers. So it's actually not even really worth it to roll, but we will do so just for decorum. So now the Norwegians are on the run. I think that the 3rd brigade is going to start absorbing some of these units. Going to back up into the mountain there, and then this one, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we will go ahead and absorb that one. So that gives us 6 points there. One, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this one we'll just go ahead and we'll try and sneak it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. But it's going to be easily blocked off by these units. So 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. We might as well go and try to make our last stand with them. These units are going to make their last stand here. The Norwegians don't need any supply whatsoever, unlike the Germans and the Allies. This unit is going to continue to tread through the mountains, but they're not going to make it very far. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4. And then these two, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then these units. So 1 to get on the rail. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. So these two have enough to move up here. And one, two, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Can I get around that lake? No, I have to go. Actually, I have to go around the lake. 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up here where they can try to recover. And these units are not mountain units, but neither are they motorized. So we're going to pull them aside. Actually, let's pull these aside and then I can grab those. Okay, so that is 1, 2. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So next turn they will be in supply. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So these units, I'm going to go ahead and pull that off. I'm probably going to move this back down here. So these also have 2, but they don't have enough to get across the river. That's 1, 2. So, like I said, I'm going to move this one back down here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I was off by 1 because I forgot to count the river. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And they are still out of supply. They've got to get behind the Namasos River. I think that's what the name of that river. Actually, I should have just done this. The Namsen River. So they've got to cross that river in order to get into supply. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Namsos is in supply, so they're good. But here is where one, two, three, 4, 5, and then the rest of these. I'm going to spend 1, 2 in train, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. So we'll keep those there in order to. These British units could be in major, major trouble. So, in order to prevent that, and I will do this sometimes during games, I will make moves to see, okay, this is as far as this can make it, this leaves this in this position, and then I will make changes as long as I am not using up more, or moving further, I should say. As long as these are not going this way, as long as they're going back towards the enemy, I'm okay with it. So, let's see. Put the 5th there, and this one, 1, 2. So that's only using 2 movement points. That one is using 2, and this one is using 2. But they are giving up the airfield because they cannot really. Well, let's see. I think that I don't want to give up the airfield. I should flip that back over to. So we shall keep that there. And this one here. And hope. It is likely that the Germans are not going to bypass them and make a run at these. The entire idea is to buy time for the 146th and 148th, which is 3, 6, 9, 10, and 3, 6, 9, 10, 20. So they have 10. And these 264 units are not enough to take that on. So we're just going to leave this at that. We are going to make the Germans fight to get Trondheim back. And I think that that's pretty much it for down there. These units cannot move yet. Moving up to here, these newly arrived units cannot move yet. So it's a question of this attack is going to have to wait. Because, I mean, if I try to bomb them, I've got 20 attack points here, and if I try to bomb them and they are not disrupted, none of them are disrupted. Let's look at the 3rd Mountain Division. It has got a regiment and a battalion in it. Probably should just go ahead and put that unit in it. That's 6, 12, 13. They've got 20 there. and an additional 5 there, so that's 25. This is what I got, 3, 12, 13. So it's a point short for 2 to 1. So it's got to try to be bombed. But right now it is guaranteed that it's going to be a 1-to-1 battle. I have to wait for reinforcements to arrive. Meanwhile, on the air unit front, we got this skua here that wants to join the carriers up here. So let's let it calculate its extended range. And I can hear the fans powering up. And as you can see, the carriers are within the unit's extended range. So we are going to take it and we're going to fly it and land it on the Ark Royal. Well, that should have done that. Leave the skua. Put that back. That should be on a lower level. And that works, and it is down on the lower level. I wonder how it is that I caught it. I managed to grab it. So we are also going to take this attack bomber. We're going to fly it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10. We're going to fly it up to that airfield. And you know what? We can take the attack bombers and we can take the skua. Let's put this here and let's go range. It has the range to attack the outskirts of Trondheim. So if it can make it, that can make it. This can also make it, albeit it'll be at extended range. But the question is, range. The Ju-88Cs can make it as well. So that is a 4-5. These are what? 1, 2, 2, 4, 5, 6, 2. So they'd have a 50-50 chance. I'm not really sure that that is worth the risk, considering that I need as many of these as I can get to take care of Narvik. So we are going to just forego any attack near Trondheim, because I need them for another operation. So with that, we take Bomber Command, and this airfield is getting closer to reopening. We fly them at extended range as always. 7, 11 and 3, 6, 10. So we have 18 points of AA, which puts us on the 1-to-1 chart. So first group facing AA. The AA misses. Second group facing the AA. That misses. So we are at 6, 12. So this group is at 6. Then 6, 12, 14. Divided by 3 is just under 5. So these will hit on a 5 or a 6, and these will hit on a 4, 5, or 6. So first row, 5 or 6. Hit. Second row, 4, 5, or 6. Miss. So this is once again increase. Now, per the rules, the Allies have some withdrawals coming. They will withdraw 1 Blend C, 2 Wellington 1Cs, and 2 Whitley 5s. So, with 5, Wellington 1C, Wellington 1C, and a Blend 4, they must be getting ready for the attack in the west. So now Bomber Command has been reduced to 1 air unit, 1 air unit counter. Also up here at Bergen, that's it. The Warspite is also being withdrawn, although it doesn't really matter which one. But the Valiant is still up here helping with anti-aircraft. The Germans are going to have a harder time because the bulk of their bombing forces have now been removed as everybody prepares for the deciding attack in the west. The destruction of France and the bringing of Great Britain to its knees. And we know how all of that worked out. So anyway, that's pretty much it. The Allies and the Norwegians are in disarray, and their forces are more or less being marginalized to where they're utterly useless. You know, here in southern Norway, you have 1 brigade that has been cornered. This brigade is going to be cornered because even if it makes it to this port, only 1 battalion can be sea lifted, and it can either sea lift to Bergen or it can sea lift to Stavanger. And both are controlled by the Germans. So its best bet is just to stay in the mountains. The British are in retreat. The French slowly prepare to attack Narvik. French are preparing to attack Narvik here. The British are retreating towards the Arctic. and it's getting cold. So I'm going to continue on. Turn 8 is up next. May 6th through 9th, the final 4 days before turn 9 and May 10th. Take care, everyone. Talk to you soon.